boys screws loose, they done stripped the bolts on them. Should've never sent them to pick up the work for me. Sprayed the park and had my shit inside the car. Marcus Smart boy was shooting with a 36 on him. Said if he wasn't in the rush, they was all goners. Tech cursive on the Jets.
All right. Greetings, Chudlings. Welcome to another episode of Chuddy's Corner, sponsored by Nick Perino Real Estate. Check out nickperino.com for all your real estate needs. He's got you covered, big, small, local, global. It is Saturday, May 25th, Mem Day weekend. Happy Mem Day weekend, everybody. It's just a tick before midnight. And the Celtics get a 114-111 win on the road against the Pacers to go up 3-0 in the series. We are one win away from the NBA Finals. I am your host, Dugouts. With me, as always, King Chuddy. Chuddy, how are you feeling tonight after that game?
I'm feeling pretty good about that game. It feels a lot of weight off the shoulders. You know, for a while, it felt like the Pacers were going to steal that one. It's going to be 2-1. We got ourselves a series, and instead 3-0. Feels like you can do a little bit of an exhale. 5 wins. With every win we knock off the amount we need, it starts to feel more and more realistic. And 5 wins, we could technically go 5-6 and win the championship.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't want to do it that way. Don't get me wrong.
No, I do not want to do it that way.
But
no.
the fact that we could is pretty crazy. 5-6
go,
at any point for this team would be by far their worst stretch they've had. So if you think about it like that,
yeah,
it's
that's
like,
a good
wow.
point. Well, yeah, I mean, I've been saying that too. I kind of like, it's like a fun thing to say, but I do think that it's a lot different. But I do, to your point though, it's like every time, like every win, that number gets smaller. And I feel like the number 5, like 5 just feels so much different than 6.
It's a small
like yesterday
number.
Yesterday it was like 6 wins. It's like, fuck, that's still like a series
That's a
and
chunk.
a half. Like
5 is not
5 wins is like, I mean, that's all. That's just 5 wins. I mean, all it is 5 wins. Yeah, we can do 5 wins.
We've done that.
5 wins is easy.
We've done that in a week before this season, I bet.
Yeah. That's a great point. 5 wins seems so much more doable. This was okay. So this was, I mean, I think we can jump right into the game. This was like the Pacers just shot pretty much lights out, at least for the first half. The shooting kind of leveled off a little bit. I don't know what they finished around, like somewhere around 50, like around 50%. At one point they were like 64%. They finished exactly 50% from the field. So the Pacers were shooting like lights out. Tatum was having like a really good game. He got going early. And it just sort of seemed like one of those games again where this kind of happens where the team is just shooting lights out, and we're kind of looking at it like, all right, well, hopefully we can just figure they won't do this again, and maybe the series goes 5 now, whatever. And then the Celtics just kind of come roaring back in the fourth. They outscored the Pacers 33-21 in the fourth. They were down by 18 going into the second half. They get the win. A big Tatum 3, Horford 3, Tatum pass to him behind the back, the Jrue Holiday steal to seal the game at the end. This game just had it all. This was awesome. I'm like fired up right now. So yeah, I mean, Chuddy, what did you think? Was this? Well, the Pacers were just shooting lights out, but the fact that we didn't quit, I mean, this is like another.
It was more than that. To me, the story of the game was the defense and the way that they clamped down in the second half. Where to me, yeah, the Pacers hit a lot of shots in the first half, but we were largely going through the motions on defense. We were letting them get a lot of good looks, and a lot of those points were in the paint. It wasn't like they beat us from 3-point land at all. It wasn't like their shooting was crazy percentage wise, but they were good looks from close to the basket. And this is a good offensive team. Like, to me, it wasn't that they were doing anything crazy or it was flukish. To me, it was largely we weren't locked in the way we needed to on defense. And that all changed with about 6-7 minutes left in the third quarter. Game swung. And from there on, I want to say we allowed they had 88 points. It was like 88-74. Oh no, it was like 90-74. I want to say after Nembhard made a layup with like 6.5-7 minutes left in the third quarter. And from there, Joe called the timeout. And it was like a different team took the court. Our defense the last quarter and a half was, that is the closest thing I've seen to this team playing at a championship level in these playoffs. That was an absolute defensive clinic. Unbelievable what the Celtics did to cut off their water. Didn't allow a close, anything resembling an open shot. Everything was extremely contested. It was basically contested looks off the dribble they were settling for. Everything was late in the clock. We're turning them over left and right. I mean, you mentioned the Holiday steal to seal the game, but that was just kind of the cherry on top to just an incredible defensive performance. And we basically walked down an 18-point lead in the second half without us ever really even getting hot or getting anything going on offense. Like, that was the craziest part about it. It wasn't like we suddenly picked it up on offense and started getting hot and hitting shots. It was just stop on defense. They could not score the basketball. And again, I think they went 20 minutes of game time and scored about 21 points. Like, they just completely could not get anything for the rest of the game. And if you give the Celtics that much time and that many chances, eventually things are going to turn in our direction. And again, nothing crazy even happened on our end. We hit a few big shots finally, like down the stretch, but overall, to me, this was like 99% to 1% about the defense. And again, if we play that kind of defense and lock in like that, it doesn't matter who we play. And yeah, the Pacers without Haliburton aren't the best team in the world. They're still a really good team. They're still a deep team. They still have a lot of good players. If anything, I mean, Haliburton taking him off the court kind of opens them up to have, like, he's by far their weakest defensive player. So,
well, you had said they're better without him.
I was
you had said
being a little
text.
facetious.
I was gonna have you open up a little bit on that. But.
Somewhat facetious, but again, Haliburton is the clear worst defensive player on their team. He's the guy we target relentlessly. You take him out, and they have good backups. And I mean, we saw Nembhard when he's the main offensive guy. It's not like Haliburton could have played much better than Nembhard played tonight. He was unbelievable. McConnell as a backup is about as good as it gets. Ben Shepherd even has given them some good minutes. So they've got plenty of guys. It's not like some of these other teams where you see they lose their star and suddenly they're playing a guy who shouldn't even be an NBA rotation player. That's not the problem for the Pacers. So it's a different type of team, but it's still a really good team. And you saw probably the best version of that team tonight, where all their guys were playing really, really well, and they almost had us. And then again, the Celtics turned that defense up to a level where that's the thing that separates us from other teams, where we can go into that mode, and then it doesn't matter what the other team does. There's nothing they can do because we are just not letting them score. And like I said, you do that for that long, eventually the Celtics are going to hit some shots. We're going to get out and run. Things are going to shift in our direction. It wasn't an avalanche where we've seen the Celtics come back or go on huge runs with avalanches. This was almost like the opposite. Just completely denied them from getting anything going, and it was just like a slow walk down where it didn't feel like there was any big run or big momentous shift. But before you know it, an 18-point game, Jrue Holiday's hitting that and one layup over Pascal Siakam, and he's shooting a free throw, and the Celtics have the lead with under minutes to play. So unbelievable comeback, unbelievable effort, but overall unbelievable performance, and it's all about the defense in the second half.
Yeah, we've said it many, many times in this podcast. The defense is the thing that you can't control the most. And, I kind of had a whole thing that I thought we would discuss when it looked like this game could be going another way, where it's like, was this like was this our defense was bad, or they were shooting lights out? Because in that first quarter, it was like they shot like 64%, I think, something like that in the first quarter. But I mean, I think it kind of shows that I do think the defense was sort of leading to that offense, because once the defense stepped it up, those shots stopped falling. They scored 21 points in the third and fourth quarter. They scored 31 and 38 in the first and second quarter. So yeah, it's exactly what you said. We clamped down offensively. It wasn't like a spark, but we had 32 and 25 in the first and second, 24 and 33 in this third and fourth. So again, it wasn't like this big offensive explosion. They just locked them up. They were missing shots, and it was crazy. Like there was a couple points when we were getting close, and then they would kind of jump back out to that 5 or 6, and it just kind of felt like that, trying to chase that, the dog chasing the fire truck or whatever, like trying to catch up to it. Then when we finally did, and they took the lead, I just couldn't really believe it. I don't know. Like it felt like one of those games that's like we were just going to keep coming close and not really getting it, and that was kind of like going to make it like this, like almost even worse. I feel like games like that are like even worse when you're like right there and then it doesn't happen. But yeah, like in the final seconds, I'd love to see like I don't have it right in front of me, but like the time of like leading the game, because we just sort of like just came out and stole it at the very end there. Yeah. This game was awesome. It was like stress. I mean, not awesome, I guess, for the first half, but just like the way seeing that thing get chipped away and then for it finally to turn into a Celtics lead. fucking all my notes are about how bad, like shitty stuff. So I'm like, I still can't believe this happened. So
no, I mean, even when it was going bad, I never felt like things were going like shitty. And I had people texting me like, "Are we gonna make a shot?" And I was like, honestly, my response, and this was early in the game, was like, the offense is fine. We literally just need to get stops, and we will win this game 100%. And that was exactly what happened. And I don't know what it took for us to finally start impacting the game with our defense, but it was like something shifted right in the middle of that third quarter, and all of a sudden we were clamping down. We were blocking shots at the rim. It was like we came out of that timeout, and I think we had 2 possessions in a row where they got in low, and we had like multiple guys block the shot down low. We were blocking layups, we were blocking dunks, blocking threes.
We had 12 blocks.
Yeah.
12 blocks. The Pacers had 1 block. That's crazy. I don't think I've ever seen anything that lopsided.
Yeah, and it really just was like a complete shift in our intensity and the way we were playing, and it's good to see. And that, again, those are the kind of things that in playoff runs, like that's the thing that championship teams do, and the thing that the question again, like we keep saying it, but it's like these people who have these made up narratives about the Celtics is like, well, where does this one fit in? Where do you have the 18-point second half comeback to win in crunch time? Like,
well, they should have never been down 18 in the first place, Chud. They should have never.
Right.
The fact that they were down 18 in the first place means that Tatum and Jaylen hate each other. That Tatum's not an MVP, and that the team and Joe Mazzulla is the worst coach ever. So forget what happened. Forget the comeback and everything like that. They should.
That's the story. Yeah, that's the story exactly. How they had to eke one out. How bad that is.
They won, but shouldn't they have won by a lot more? Even though when they win by a lot more, we say that they're not tested now.
Those are hollow.
I do feel like I feel like a couple like the most like kind of most recent wins. It has kind of felt like they're all like the way they're winning is almost like targeting narratives at this point. Like I feel like they've kind of like had a few games like where it's sort of like the outcome just completely puts to bed all. I mean, they'll come up with something. The media will come up with something after this, but
they never fail in that regard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you saw like Perkins, who days prior had said that he thought Jayson Tatum was first team All NBA, which he is, and that Jaylen wasn't first, second, or third, and then they win they win game 2. And now he's like, I think Jaylen's better than Tatum. It's like, well, three days ago you could have literally gone on the record saying that, and you didn't. So I don't know. I had to get my shot in at Perk there.
I can't do it with the Perkins stuff anymore.
It's. I mean, I'll go on a little side thing about Perkins right now. Like, how is ESPN laid off all that talent just to make Perkins the like face of their like NBA analysis? That is a wild decision.
It's.
What do you think, Chuddy? How are you not fired up? How are you not jumping to the fucking screen?
The Perkins thing, I'm just like, it's
not about the Perkins.
So dead to me. Well, that just depresses me. That's just like sad. Like you said, the switching after every game, he has a different story. Like you said, his take is night and day, 3 days apart. And I mean, like I said, at this point, I can't get fired up about Perkins other than the fact that it's just sad that he's on there. And again, we discussed last show how the media rights deal is changing, and that was one of the things I said. Where sad as I am to see something like Inside the NBA go, I'm excited about the chance of someone else covering the NBA who might actually care about the fucking game and be like covering it, not just talking about bullshit narratives that, like, I don't know. To me, the shit that nobody wants to hear, nobody wants to see, that is like. And he's the face of it right now. And again, it's not even the fact that he's a former Celtic. Like, that to me is whatever. But it's like his takes are just pathetic and embarrassing. And I don't know. I hate even giving him attention. Honestly, like, it's so bad. It's so pathetic. Yeah. And the fact that he's has become one of their main guys, where it's like, I don't. Who are the people out there?
He is their main guy. Like, he's
right. But who are his people? Like, it's not like
that's what I don't get. No,
it would be one thing if he was just like leaned into being a biased Celtics homer and at least had like, oh, the Celtics people love him, but it's not. It's like he makes those people his enemy. So it's like, who are the people who out there across the world that watches NBA likes Kendrick Perkins? Like, I don't think he has. I don't think he has anyone
like,
who.
Oh shit, Perk's coming up at the 5 o'clock.
What
hour.
Segment of NBA? What segment of NBA fans doesn't hate him? Like, I don't. That's the craziest part.
Yeah. It's bizarro land.
You know, at least with the other guys, even when they suck, there's people that you can see why they would obviously but Perk, he has no redeeming qualities to anyone as far as I can tell, and it just pisses me off.
I'm glad that the one thing about his ascent on ESPN has been, I think, his removal from the regional broadcasts and stuff like that. I feel like they never have him on there anymore.
I guess if that's the price to pay,
you got to
like if
that's it's a lot easier to ignore ESPN.
No, I guess if that's the price we had to pay to get him away from the night to night coverage on NBCSN, then so be it. But
yeah,
I don't know. I just don't get it. Is he still bitter about being traded for the Jeff Green trade? Is it something like that? Is it just he thinks he thinks to make a name for himself he has to go contrarian to his old team?
Yeah, I think,
or is he just that dumb and indecisive, and he genuinely can't hold an opinion?
I'd say it's those two things. No, I think he just forgets that it's there's a camera on him that records what he's saying, because then he just in February said if the Celtics are at first place, he'd vote Tatum for MVP, and I don't think he had Tatum on his ballot. So he's just a fucking donkey. But that was talking Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah, and it was.
I know you're right. I don't want to give. I don't want to. I don't. See, I go back and forth. It's I don't want to give him the attention, but I also feel if someone's just a fucking moron,
he has to be put in his place.
Yeah. We have a platform. We could just
I know what you mean.
Why not?
Yeah. No, he deserves to be put. He deserves to be put in his place, but he doesn't deserve the attention at the same time. So yeah. All right. Let's talk about guys who do deserve our attention, and Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Jayson Tatum, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We'll start with Tatum. Unbelievable. I mean, Tatum, one of his best games. He was just lights out. It seemed like every right decision,
10 rebounds, 8 assists.
Yeah, I mean, he was shooting at the right time. He was driving at the right time. He was passing at the right time. Again, just making the right play over and over again, and playing great D, playing great offense, being a facilitator, hitting shots too. Not much more you could ask from him. And I thought he was
you did see that
he
did miss a layup at the end of the game though, Ben. So he missed a layup. So that was
right. I think he got fouled on that, but
no,
regardless. But I mean, he
right there. Yeah, I mean that's
hit the three right before that. Obviously, big three. And he was again just at the head of the head of the snake, playing defense in the second half and leading the charge. You saw the emotion that people want to see, fired up, fist pumping after every shots. After Al Horford hits a shot, he's going crazy. After Jrue hit that and one, he's going crazy. And again, a lot of these are plays where the defense is leaning towards him because he has it going and he's making the right pass, getting the ball to other guys. I think, how many times did he perfectly draw the double and hit that behind the back pass to Al in stride? And I think it was the pod with Coley and I in game one when we said, Al shot went 3 of 12 from 3 in game one. And we both said, as much as that might jump out to the box score watchers, we're like, that's 12 open looks that Al had. We need him to keep shooting, and there'll be a game where he goes 8 of 12. He went 7 of 12 tonight, so that was basically exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah.
But it was unreal. Every shot lights out, and so many of those were Tatum just trusting his teammates and making the right play, where, again, Tatum had it going. He could have been way more aggressive and forced 5-6 more shots and probably scored 40 points quite a little less efficiently. But it didn't matter. The fact that he had it going, that he had 36 points, he still was making the right read, setting up his teammates, and celebrating them scoring. Truly, just showing over and over and over again that all he does care about is winning. And this was just an unbelievable Tatum game. Love to see it. So hard to. I don't know. I'm sure they'll be mad about something if the people who don't.
Like I said, I mean,
I don't know what there is.
Preliminary reports. I know. The early preliminary reports are that he missed the layup at the end and that Jrue Holiday had to steal the game or whatever. Which, shout out to Jrue, that was a great steal, but they're still down 3. There's freaks. They're freaks. They're freaks, dear Chud.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. I mean, Tatum was unreal tonight. I don't know what more. Again, that's leading a team in the Final Four of the NBA playoffs, putting up on the eye test, on the stat sheet, on offense, on defense, scoring, passing. 0 turnovers again tonight. Huge rebounds. Literally doing it all. helping contribute to an 18-point comeback to win a game on the road in the Eastern Conference Finals. Finding a quibble with Tatum's game tonight.
I have no quibble. I am enthusiastic about. I'm as enthusiastic about Jayson Tatum's night as I can.
I hope so.
I mean, whoa! I was bringing that take up only to expose people that I think will be listening, hate listening to the pod, rage listening even to this pod, because they're just not serious people. And I think, again, maybe we're giving the haters a little bit too much airtime tonight. We already just did it with Perkins too, but fuck it. We're 1 win from the finals, up 3-0. We're bringing something extra to the pod.
All right.
Jaylen too. He had 24 points. He was 10 from 18 from the field. He had an absolutely monster dunk at one point that I honestly feel like kind of that almost, it might, I'd have to go and rewatch exactly, but I feel like that was almost like a turning point. I feel like that dunk happened, and that was when I was kind of like the meme where the guy like leans forward and like the controller or whatever.
Yes.
That was like, when that happened, I was just like, hold on a second here. Like, wait a second.
So
what are we
he
doing
had that
here?
dunk, which was huge, and I think that cut it from like 6 to 4. And then, like, sneaky, one of the biggest plays of the game, I thought, that is going to go so far under the radar was the Pacers had just pushed it back to like 8. I think it was 109-101 with like 3:40 to go. And it felt like they had snatched the momentum back and was starting to think like, oh, all right, push it back to 8. Maybe it's over. And Jaylen just got it super deep and hit like that turnaround mid-range fadeaway jumper with like a sky ball that he got in, cut it to like 109, 103. And again, just a small play, but over time it was like just like such a massive bucket to immediately stamp out their momentum, get it right back down to 6. And it's like, all right, we're right back to possession game, right within striking distance. But there were so many little plays in the midst of that comeback where they would push back, and it would have been easy for us to go away and be like, all right, good comeback, made it close, but like, whatever. But they beat us. They got one at home. Wouldn't have been even like a huge deal. And again, so many opportunities for that. And every single time we push back, a couple of those, the Jaylen dunk and that little turnaround mid-range shot were 2 huge plays where it was like, we basically need a bucket or this could be all she wrote. And he just came down and so smoothly got a bucket. So clutch. So again, just all the narratives about the Celtics not being clutch. It was just like clutch basket after clutch basket after clutch basket with stop after stop, insane defense, insane offense. And again, pretty much everyone, like I said, Tatum, one of his best games. Jaylen, not like his best game overall as well as he played, but an awesome game. Another game where he was able to sacrifice. And again, how many guys are scoring, have the game they have in game 1, have 40 points in game 2? It would have been easy for Jaylen to be like, wow, I can sniff the Eastern Conference MVP, go out and maybe play a little, over his skis, trying to put up big stats again, prove that he's the guy. Couldn't have been anything like further from that. Played completely within himself. Super smart game. Didn't seem like he forced one single shot that he shouldn't have. Took what the defense was giving him. Scored an efficient 23 points, whatever. What was it? 24 points, whatever you just said. Like, but just like all within the rhythm of the offense. Played great like defense and they've all said the right things all year about sacrifice and just caring about winning, but they continue to back it up too with their play game after game after game. And it's awesome. And it really is like it's exactly what you want to see.
I feel like to the point you just made about, having the games that he's been having to kind of this game, like it seemed like there was like an effort to make Tatum get more involved, like right away in this game. Like he had, I think he had like 12 points or something in the first quarter. He scored a shitload early on. He was setting the tone, and I do feel like it kind of reminds me of that video or like the mic'd up clip. Like I think it was round 2 where like Jaylen was like saying to Tatum, like big deuce, like here we go, like you're big deuce. I feel like there was like, I feel like there was like an effort to get him involved, and I think that for Jaylen, it's like like he's just as happy seeing Tatum have this type of game than to not.
I think they genuinely all just want to win, and again, every player in sports says that, but like I said, with these guys, they're saying it, but you can see it backed up in the way they go out there and play, and that's
Yeah.
what's really refreshing to see.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Sacrifice is like the Ubuntu of this team. Like,
Right,
that's
but
like
they've
a
also it's one thing to go say it, but again, like I said, to see it out there in the game where it's so many of these guys, could easily, and like it wouldn't be crazy for them to think like, okay, I gotta go and I should go out there and do something, and no matter what, it's like none of them seem that. Even tonight, Tatum, when he had it going, he still time after time made that extra pass, kicked it out for those Al 3 for that Jrue and 1, and like all those plays that added up to winning.
Yeah.
And
he had a couple of those those behind the back little passes to Horford. That's,
it's become a staple of his game. And again, I don't know if he got an assist on the play to Jrue, but it was the same thing at the end of the game. The biggest possession of the game, we were down by a point and down by 2, and Tatum took it. The second the double team crept over, he hit Jrue, drove in, hit that layup and one on Siakam, gave us the lead, and then that was the game. And again, it's just like
boom.
how many superstars in the league are making those kind of plays. So I don't know. And for what it's worth, that layup you're talking about, Tatum definitely got fouled when he went in on the left. He laid it down. He got drilled on the body and the arm. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Bringing up that as anything is comical.
They're not serious people. I love them, but they are not serious people.
I don't. I have no love for these people.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah.
I think, and we alluded a little bit to Al. Al 7 threes tonight. I mean, it's so good to see Al kind of get out of his, I guess, I don't know if I'd say, is it a funk? Would we call it a funk when he's been in? I mean, maybe.
No.
Quasi-funk?
Quasi-funk, but again, I think it goes hand in hand with finally embracing small ball, getting Al some more rest. You see that. Fewer minutes, better Al. Like, if he's asked to play 30, I don't think it's crazy. If he has to play 36, 40 minutes, he's going to wear down and he's not going to look great. If we need 25 minutes out of him, he's going to look like the fucking best big man in the league. Like, this isn't new. It's not crazy. And again, we got to keep it going.
Also, it's kind of crazy, just like for, Al's been in the league for a long time. He's 8 for 14, 7 from 12. So, like, just think about, I don't know, like Al Horford, like I remember like him on the Hawks, like playing them in like 08 and shit like that. Like, he shot 2 shots that weren't threes. That's like, he shot 2 shots that weren't threes. It's just kind of funny, like what his game has sort of turned into.
He's completely reinvented himself. He was not a 3-point shooter at all early in his career. He was a true post player. And now he's basically, like you said, just shoots open threes as the extent of his offense. He'll exploit a mismatch down low if he gets one. Otherwise, he's a ball mover, a screener, and a corner 3-point shooter. But he has mastered it truly. Like you couldn't ask for a better version of what he is for this team now, and it's been that way for a few years. And we're just lucky to have it, and I hope he never ages and keeps playing. Like, give me three more years of this.
This is his 180th playoff game.
We'll keep him in bubble wrap. He can play, one game a week, and that would be the ideal Al going forward. Play 35 minutes, ramp it up, come in the playoffs. He can load manage in the playoffs going forward for all I care. Like, just anything we can do to keep Al Horford in green and playing basketball for the Celtics. Like, what a god!
Dude, I agree with kind of what you were saying about just playing him fewer minutes. It did. I mean, he played. Hold on, he played 34 minutes tonight. So that's like, I'd say that's about like the max. I think is like, I'd say 4 when he's playing like that. I thought there was a lot more Hauser. We saw more Tillman, a little less Brissett. I kind of thought we'd see more Brissett after the success we had with him. What's like, I guess let's talk a little bit about, let's start with maybe Hauser, because he just hasn't looked good.
Rough
and I'm a little concerned. He had that air ball 3. He had a couple like really bad defensive plays too. He's quite a I don't know, sort of he makes you, I don't really know what to make of him, because he, like, when he's on, he's so good, but he only played 12 minutes. I think that is, or 13 minutes. I'm sorry, but I don't know what's going on with Hauser. I don't know if are those minutes that could go to anyone else. Like when Porzingis comes back, is that pretty much the end of how, is he just there basically to give guys a chance to breathe, or is Joe trying to get him trying to like kind of wake him up and get him going. I don't know. I don't really know what to make of Hauser.
No, I think
I don't
Hauser's-
know how much longer they can keep playing him.
Yeah, I think he's been a legit part of this rotation this entire year. I don't think it's he's
Agreed. I agree.
He's earned those minutes he's getting, and he's definitely not playing well. And a huge part of that is just his shot looks. He's just seeing ghosts up there or something. It's not going well, which is extremely.
He had an air ball that was so bad.
Yeah, and that's tough because again, it's like we know at some point you assume he's going to get hot. He's going to hit 3 threes in a row, and we're going to be like, oh, great. But the defense has been rough too. I think in a lot of ways it's just a tough matchup for him. Super fast team, not a lot of guys for him to guard, and he's getting targeted and abused a little bit in the pick and roll. He had a rough shift, and I don't think it's a coincidence that they called the timeout, got him out of the game, and that was exactly when that run started, when the Celtics started coming back in the second half. I definitely don't think he came back in after that, and that's fine. I feel like we've said this before. That's in the NBA playoffs, you want to win a title, you have 5-6 guys you trust, and from there it's just like patch it together game to game. And there's no pride, there's no ego. We've seen it with players with much more pedigree in the NBA than Sam Hauser, who can get benched for a series, and that doesn't mean shit. You don't hang your hat. You might come back in the finals, and we might need you, and you might come through and play a huge role in a game. Like that's part of it. Again, like I said, it's at this level, you're scrapping minutes together minute by minute, and every minute you can steal of good play is fine. There's no like, well, Hauser's had a good year, so he has to play 15 minutes no matter what. If he doesn't have it, you can bench him. And I mean, that seemed like what happened.
Well,
they didn't put him back in. They didn't put Pritchard back in. So I hope that Joe is willing to make those adjustments. And like you said, seems like a series where favors Brissett more than Hauser. And if he's not hitting threes, especially, you got to be quick to pull that trigger, because that's kind of the one thing that would keep him on the court and give him the edge, and it hasn't been happening. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I get what you're saying. He has, and again, I'm a big Hauser guy.
I'm not giving up on him.
I've had the house party meme locked in, ready to go in the chamber. Like, I'm hoping for the breakout. The air ball that I've mentioned, and again, I feel bad. I've mentioned this air ball like 50 times now.
No, but he was.
But
just
it was
off.
it was one of those shots. But it was one of those shots where I feel like that was.
It's representative of the way he's been shooting.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that was, to me, that was like a slump breaker look. It's like when he missed that one, because it was like this awesome swing, like, and then to move to him, like he finally was like the open guy. I was like he shot that. I was like, there's no way this is he's gonna hit this shot, and that's gonna be the end of that.
And that would have tied it, I think, right?
When it was,
I think that was down 3. It would have been. It would have been like a huge shot. It just would have been a huge shot.
Exactly. Yeah. Right, and it was just like such perfect, like,
in rhythm
movement, Celtics basketball, in rhythm, everything. And I'm like, oh, and then once that didn't go in, I was like, fuck, that might be it. Like if that can't break it out, that's,
he always makes those.
Really being concerned, right? So I do. I mean, I hope he turns it around. Again, I think we should be. I think we're probably already at the point, and where it gets to a certain point, and I don't even think we should be playing anyone off the bench. Like in the game,
48 minutes.
No, I meant that. I meant like it gets to a point in the game where like it's just kind of like we're done. Obviously, like crunch time and like down the stretch is one thing, but I do think we should be more open to some of these games where the Jays, Derek, like Jrue Holiday are basically playing like all 12 minutes in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Like, no, I don't really think there's any need for like breaks.
Well, it goes back
maybe
to what
not in this series, I guess, but
no, but it goes back to what I was saying early in this series, where it was like we don't need to just immediately go to our bench, and we had Cornette, Sam, and Pritchard all playing together in the first quarter, and it's like this is the Eastern Conference Finals. In an ideal situation, we're going to play under 10 more games the rest of this season. Like we can play their good players more minutes. We don't have to be doing this. So at this point, it should be like filling those guys in, seeing if someone has it going, and if not, don't be shy about pulling the plug a little quicker than usual.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Again, it's not a knock on Hauser. It's not a knock on Pritchard, but that's the
nature.
That's the nature of NBA benches. And NBA benches are about matchups. They're about stealing some minutes. They're about the guy who has the hot hand. And these playoff games, the margins are so thin, and it's if it was best of 100. Whatever, like we'll play Hauser 15 minutes a game, and I trust that Water will find his level, but it's a 7-game series. If he doesn't have it, pull the plug and get someone else fucking in there.
Yeah.
If he's not hitting shots, then he's basically O'Shea Brissett, but worse at everything.
Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. If O'Shea Brissett's better, if the shooting's like even. So again, it's not like Hauser has some guy who's like earned these minutes and has to play no matter what. And like I said, it's not a knock on him. It's not that we don't want Hauser. He's a great player. His contract's awesome. He's going to be a huge role player for this team going forward. As the money tightens up, he's going to be crucial to what we do, but at the same time, he has to have big enough, confidence to say whatever. Like, you might go a couple games where you don't really play, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah. All right. I mean, what else? I don't know. I think.
Yeah.
This.
Not much else.
This game was sick. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Awesome.
Like, this game was like. This was. I feel like one of the. Kind of. This was like. I don't know. I feel like this is one of the first games in a while where it's kind of got me like up out of the seat and stuff like that with the Celtics. So this game
was, like, one, no
fun.
Emotion.
No, well, no. I mean, it was more just like the way, like, I couldn't believe that was happening. Like, when we finally took the lead, it was just kind of like, no fucking way. Because like I said, it was like we kept climbing and knocking. Then no, boom, they would like kind of do something. I mean, Nembhard had like an unreal game. What he finished like over 30 points or maybe 30 points exactly or something like that.
Yeah, but he had like 24 of those at halftime. Again, the second half defense.
Yeah, right. The defense. Yeah, exactly. The defense. So it was just
different.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. This is just one of those games where
awesome.
It was just so exciting. And again, there's just a lot of like tap dancing going on the Celtics grave by some freakazoids. So it was nice to, freezing colds take their asses.
Yeah. I mean, I was like I said, I was confidently saying the entire time, if we just play fucking defense, we will come back. And like I said, I could pull up the receipts early third quarter where people were texting me and I was saying literally start focusing on defense and we will lock this lead down in 2 seconds. And that's exactly what happened. Never got it fired up on offense and it didn't matter because the defense was just that good that eventually it was too much. And great to see. Again, obviously no Tyrese Halliburton for them. Hurts their offense, but they have plenty of other good players. And again, like you said, Nembhard was absolutely incredible. So he seemed to take over that Halliburton role pretty well. And then they have no clear defensive liability where we've been targeting the shit out of Halliburton on defense. He's their clear weakness. Without that, they play all, really 5 good defensive players at a time, which the knock on the Pacers, everyone's like, oh, they can't play defense, blah, blah, blah. We've talked about how, since the second half of the season, since the Siakam trade, they've focused in, become a solid defense. Without Halliburton, even better. So it's not your grandfather's Pacers team, so to speak. Something a little different, and the Celtics just rose to the occasion. And that second half, and again, especially after that timeout, where I'd have to go back and look, but I feel like it was with about 7:45 to go in the third quarter. From there on out, that was like the epitome of playing championship level basketball, where defense was not relenting one single bit, and the offense again wasn't just some like freakish hot shit. It was getting the right move and just wearing them down over and over again, bullying them, getting good looks, basketball, getting layups, making free throws, everything you want to see. And again, it was a little bit of everyone. Like I said, tough Derek White night. Obviously, Jrue was unbelievable. Yet again,
tough Derek White series.
Both Jays, awesome. Al, awesome. And yeah, tough night for Derek shooting, but again, overall good game.
Tough series.
Several big blocks. Yeah, but it's always just the shooting. It's always just the shooting, and it's all right when you got 4 other guys who are playing well on offense. So be it. We'll get by without it. And again, with anyone who has a bad game, that's the luxury of the situation is we can say, hey, yeah, tough game, but hopefully that means he'll in the finals it'll swing back the other way and he will get hot. So.
Yeah,
I'm not like.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. It is really, it is just kind of the shooting. I don't think he's playing poorly anywhere else. But are the Pacers dead? Do you think that they? Yeah. Well, I don't mean like to win the series.
3-0.
Do you think that
they could they steal game 4?
Yeah.
They could steal game 4 and make it a gentleman's. Yeah, they could. I mean, that wouldn't be crazy. I don't think at all. I mean, you saw tonight.
You've worked hard to get your first sweep. You've been predicting a sweep every time.
I feel like I've earned it.
Yeah.
But I feel like game 1 was the game. It's usually the Celtics frig up one game. That was game 1, and we stole it. So now I said after that, I feel like we got our shit game out of the way. Whereas some people were like, wow, the Pacers actually like played it pretty well. Maybe this is going to be a series. I was like, nope, we got our shit game out of the way and we still won it. They're fucked. And I still think that's the case. So I'm sticking with it. I think we sweep them. And that would be what's Monday? It's not June yet, right? It'll still be May. So we'd have 8-10 days off. I mean, it'd be a crazy amount of rest if we do finish this thing off Monday night, right?
Yeah,
because they're not moving the finals up. Those finals schedule is set in stone.
It's June 6th, right?
Yeah. Wow.
D-Day.
So that's a long ways away.
I need to be a 10-day.
Today is what?
10-day break.
That's insane.
I mean, they can't necessarily move it forward. I mean, so what if the Mavs? You think they definitely don't move it, right? For anything like the Mavs. Imagine the Mavs. So. If the Mavs swept too, they'd be done Tuesday. That'd be 9 days between the games.
Seems crazy.
That game would be crazy. Hammer the under to that game 1 or whatever that happens. Yeah, I think that they might be dead because I think game 1 was, again, like you said, we kind of stole it, and then game 2 is kind of like, okay, no, see, we're not dead, and we end up winning. It's like, okay, but you still won. Then tonight, this was just a complete robbery. Like if you're them, how do you? It
this
never
was the demoralized.
This is the most demoralizing. This is just
right. That's what I'm saying. I think they came in tonight. Like I said, I think Halliburton was out, but they still it's a good deep team, and I think they were in that locker room probably genuinely believing they could do it. And I think we just broke their.
Well, yeah, one of your keys was that this team believes they can win, and
they did.
For about 36 minutes, 34 minutes of this game, it looked like they believed it.
That certainly didn't look like a team that was missing their best player.
No. All right. So yeah, game 4 on Monday. Hopefully Celtics can, just wrap up the series then. That would be fucking sweet. We're 1 win away from making it back to the NBA Finals, second NBA Finals in 3 years. 5 wins away from the ultimate goal. It's gonna be a long 5 games, yeah. But again, so Celtics get this win, 114, 111.
I like winning.
Fucking sweet. I like winning. I like money. All right. Around the NBA, the Mavs win games 1 and 2 on the road. Timberwolves. I loved the picture getting sent around after they won Game 7. The videos and pictures of them working out. That's the Suns, just like the Suns did.
Right. Why?
That just never works out.
Why do that?
Yeah, Ant-Man is playing awful. He's shooting awful.
Towns playing worse.
So I sort of predicted this with this series. Yeah, I sort of predicted this, that I think that they we're going to have a little bit of a slay the dragon type thing. Like we already beat the defending champs, not realizing that it's not like WWE. They don't, beat the champion and become the champion type of thing. So, I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in them being able to go and win 2 in Dallas, and for it to if they're down 3-1, I don't see that team winning 3 straight games against the Mavs.
It's gonna be tough.
So
but I don't think the series is over. I mean, I think they could. I wouldn't be shocked if this goes back 2-2. Let's put it that way. As bad as they played, 2 fairly close games with their 2 best players playing like shit, they definitely could turn around. And I mean, again, look at the series we just saw with Denver and the Timberwolves. How many times did everyone completely change their opinion? Say, "Oh, this team's dead. Oh, no, this team's
I
going
had no
this
idea
team's all the way."
What was going on in that series.
It was 3 swings back and forth where you declared a different team dead. So I'm not going to overreact where, like I said, the Timberwolves come out and win game 3 and we're all of a sudden all right. And I think they can. But very discouraging stuff if you're Timberwolves fans, game 1 and 2. But again, if you can play them that close with your 2 best players playing absolute garbage, there's, you can talk yourself into it. But I think the concern is that what makes you think that's going to change if you just watch them? They look physically exhausted, and they're, that's something we've talked about with the Celtics before, and where we've said, I don't want to be battle tested and go through that gauntlet, because you look at that team, they look physically exhausted. Ant at the end of both the last 2 games in the fourth quarter has been basically standing off to the side in the corner in the half court with his hands on his knees because he just can't breathe. He's so fucking tired. And that's what happens when you go through a 7-game war with the defending champs in the second round. That's part of it. So again, everyone acting like, this is so bad for the Celtics that they're not being tested. And it feels like we're going to be, I keep saying it, but
we've been tested enough.
Yeah, we're going to be winning the finals 4-1 while the other team is puking in trash cans. And they're going to be like, well, they haven't really played anyone. It's like,
Yeah. How battle tested really are they?
So in that sense, I'm hoping the Timberwolves can at least win a game or two, because I would love to see this series go 7 and these two teams beat each other up even further. And that, to me, is what it's all about. Like, again, the Nuggets had to exert a little more energy than they probably wanted to beat the Lakers. The Timberwolves exerted all the energy to beat the Nuggets, and now they look dead against the Mavericks. Hopefully the Mavericks will have to exert all the energy they have to beat the Timberwolves, and hopefully the Celtics will have to exert no energy and will be fresh against whichever one of these teams we play. Again, obviously right now it's looking like the Mavericks, but that was the only thing to me. I guess I was a little bummed. I was hoping the Timberwolves would have stolen game 2. Not that they would have stolen it. I mean, they blew an 18-point lead, but I was hoping, I guess, they could have hung on, because I would have liked to see that series 1-1. I just want that series to go 7. Tired. Like, that's kind of the end of the
wear themselves.
If both sweep, like you said.
Anthony Edwards is 17 of 57. I mentioned it before. 17 of 57 over the last 3 games. Whoa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Towns has been even worse, I think. And Towns got benched for the last 8 minutes of game 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, he wasn't even on the court for the end of the game. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, Naz Reid had it going. I mean, but that's part of roster building too, I guess, where 3 of your 4 best players can't all play together at the same time. You're gonna have some tough decisions, but it's been those 2 guys need to figure it out. Edwards has figured out. Naz is almost unplayable with how bad his defense has been. Gobert, the irony of it all is Gobert has been solid, and he's the one who gets clowned on because Luka hits the winning shot over him, and everyone's making fun of him, and it's like, I don't know. Yeah. It's just funny. Like the team is hanging on because Gobert is playing so well. They have a chance.
You literally wouldn't know that if you just watched.
Yeah, well, right. Exactly.
He was getting
not exactly, not at all. The opposite. But,
and also, I kind of loved Luka. Like, again, Luka is one of those players where it's like I almost feel like I'm forced to not like Luka because how much people try to compare him to Tatum and stuff like that. Like, he's one of those guys where it's just like, no, I like him, and then it's like, well, he's better than Tatum. It's like, well, I'll find a flaw. But I kind of love the sort of edgy plays with this him. Like, you could read his lips during some of those plays, and it was just like, I mean, he's just fucking chirping, and I personally I like that. I like to see that. I don't know who the fuck he was. He told someone to go the fuck home. What the Shadu was kind of saying to Gobert, who I do think Gobert was playing him a little bit. There was some plays prior to that where Gobert was kind of throwing some elbows and stuff like that. So I feel like there was probably some true animosity between the two right there. But that shot was fucking nails.
That shit just also cracks me up so bad. Like, imagine and I mean, even the discourse around people who are like, he's the defensive player of the year and he can't even stop Luka. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, in what other era in ever NBA, any player has the center been forced to switch onto a perimeter guy? And was Shaq going to switch out and guard Luka? Was built name your center. Like, this isn't a thing that's happened. Yeah. The fact that, and it wasn't even bad defense by Rudy. Like, he just made a sick shot. Like, it's not like he got his ankles broken. It's just he happened to get switched onto him, isolated on the perimeter. Where again, it's a fucking 7-2 center forced to guard one of the best perimeter players in the league. Does his best, stays with him pretty well, and Luka just hits an unbelievable shot, and everyone's just like, "See, Gobert sucks." Like, what do you not? How do you not see this? And it's like, what do you? So sorry, he didn't go out and block Luka's 3.5 court. Just unreal. But again, they're only playing well basically when Gobert is on the court. So whatever. Jokes are funny. Jokes are funny.
Europeans, they probably are each yelling at each other in a language that isn't their own and isn't English either. Because I feel like they all know.
Yeah, I can only hope.
In Europe, just they're just yelling at each other and
And that was Luka's. Did you hear that Luka's press conference? The guy asked him so the guy said they were reading his lips, and he's like, "You said to Gobert, you yelled you can't guard me, motherfucker," or something like that. And Luka's like, "What?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I didn't say that. I was speaking Slovenian." It's like, I said Slovenian. I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you think he actually was, or is he being coy?
No, he's being coy, 100%. He said, "You could."
Oh, all right. I was gonna say,
that's what he said.
That would be crazy if like
you can't
if in
guard me,
Slovenian
motherfucker.
what it
They
looked
asked him
like.
about it,
Yeah.
and he was like, "No, I didn't say that." He was joking, 100%. He's like, "No,
Okay,
I said
all right.
in Slovenian.
Well,
I don't know what you're talking about."
As you were saying that, I was kind of like interesting because like it.
No. He was
if,
just
like,
being
the Slovenian way of saying like "a good game" was literally like looked like your mouth saying that.
No, not at all. He was screaming.
All right, so you don't think the Timberwolves are cooked? I don't think they're necessarily.
I don't think.
Cooked.
I mean, they're in trouble,
obviously.
but I don't.
This is a must win.
Yeah,
must win.
Yeah, but they can win it. I haven't seen anything that's just like, oh, they're fucked. It's like they haven't played great. They lost 2 close games. They could easily go out, play better, and win.
Yeah. All right. What else? Is there anything else around the NBA? I saw Windhorst wanted to make it very clear that LeBron is not and does not want to be involved in the search for a head coach for the Lakers.
Yeah.
If commendable of LeBron.
I heard Pelinka called him to ask him a question about the coach, and he threw his phone away. He was just absolutely furious that they would even think to ask him. He's going he's going into a bunker. Zero dark offseason.
0 dark 30. Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's just.
It looks like they're gonna hide. Everyone's saying Reddick's the.
I hope so.
I don't know if that's.
I sure
true,
hope so. Nothing could be.
It's
more
funny too because I saw a thing.
That couldn't possibly.
I saw a thing about Jeff. Is it Jeff or Snake? Yeah, Jeff Van Gundy. The guy was on ESPN, and now is with the Celtics. But I saw like a report that came out that one of the reasons why they got. That they chose to cut ties with him. One of them was that the NBA officials were complaining about his comments, which is hilarious, but that's not really the point of this. It was ESPN believed that his like heart was still really in coaching, that he would eventually return to the NBA. And it's kind of funny that the 2 people to replace him now are like probably leaving to go to coaching jobs too, like Doc Rivers and now possibly JJ Redick. So that's kind of funny.
It's funny that people think that's a good coaching attribute.
What's that? Being like a play-by-play guy?
Anyone who's talking themselves into Redick as their head coach is just like, oh, if you heard his podcast, like this guy knows ball. Like, you know what I mean? He has no coaching experience, literally.
He knows ball though.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he'll call up.
That would be crazy. Yeah, he hasn't even been an assistant or anything.
It's just funny. I hope he gets
funny.
it. Like I said,
it's kind of like it's almost one of those things where it's like I don't know. I feel like with Redick, it's like like if you like go to sleep with like headphones on, you like remember the shit better. I feel like with like JJ Redick, it's like if you follow the NBA, like you're just hearing his voice all the time. So it's like you just eventually are just kind of.
And he's a good voice. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, no, I love. I don't want him to go coaching because I like him. I like him doing calls.
But it's just funny to think that a team is like, oh wow, like watching a game. And like, huh, that's true. Wait a minute. Wait, I agree. Yeah. Like that's a good philosophy. We should see if we should see what he's doing next year.
Yeah.
And then the fact
you made a very like nice, good point.
Right. And that's all it takes.
You should coach. Well, who knows? It means that one of us might find ourselves in the sidelines soon.
It sounds like we are. We're in the right profession.
Let's just
get interest.
Circle it takes.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right, I'm trying to. Anything else around the NBA? You got anything?
I don't think so.
Fuck, man, it's sad. There's not. It's just the one other series.
I know. It is.
It's got something else going on.
It's depressing. A depressing state of affairs.
Quite depressing. I think I had a few good. No, maybe I didn't have them. This was the Celtics' 5th largest playoff comeback since the year 2000. 18 points. Yeah. No, everything that I had notes and bookmarked was all basically under the impression we were going to lose. So shout out to us for winning. Love that. Love that for us.
Big fan of winning.
Huge. 1 win away from the finals. 1 win away from the finals. I don't know what clapping sounds like on the pod, but I'm sorry. I didn't know if that was not enjoyable. All right. So I guess I'll just see you back here on Monday, Chud.
Let's do it. Close out game.
For game 4. Let's close it out. Do you think if Porzingis is healthy, is it worth playing him?
So it's interesting. There's a good debate to me. Like I said, is it better to have him get extra rest or get his feet wet a little bit before just being thrust in the finals. I think at the end of the day, it depends on variables that you and I have no knowledge of whatsoever. So it's like, if he genuinely is healthy enough to play, I'm fine with sending him out there. But, we can play him off the bench, get him 10, 12 minutes, whatever, play him what would have been Cornette's minutes. And that, at least is something. But if he's not fully 100% and you'd be rushing him back, then no, of course, don't play him. Again, we have no way of knowing that. Just have to trust the medical staff that they'll do the right thing. But in my opinion, if he is good to go, get him some reps.
Yeah, I do think that if they do have this long break, that I feel like that's almost a chance for in practice to kind of get maybe close to game reps. Because I feel like the way they're going to practice in an 11-day stretch will probably include. I would, again, I'm just a podcaster who may one day be a coach, so I don't know. But I feel like if I were a coach,
you're fourth on the
teams are listening. Yeah. If any teams are listening, this is what I would do if I had 11 days off. I would halfway through that just play an intense scrimmage or something like that, the Monaco Team USA thing. I just want you guys to go out there and just fucking ball out. So hopefully, if you can't go game 4, I think there's at least plenty of time for him to get at least some close to game quality reps. Obviously, it's hard to mimic the real thing, but we'll see what happens with Porzingis. But yeah, so shout out Celtics winning this saving Mem Day weekend.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you all back here on Monday then. Everyone, make sure you subscribe to the pod. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Chuddy's Corner. I'm on Twitter at Doug_outs. He's at King Chuddy. Go ahead and follow us. Subscribe to the podcast. Wherever you're listening on. Check out the Chuddy'sCorner.com merch store. Also check out Chuddy'sCorner.com. You can leave us voicemails. There is no phone number. Someone said to me earlier I couldn't find the phone number. Adorable thing to say. But it's just there's the microphone thing on the website. So make sure you click on that, leave us voicemails. Chuddy, I will see you back here Monday. Take care.
Peace out, Chuddy heads.